Hi everybody and welcome to my channel, Your Strength Within. My name is Emmanuel Ben Isaac and I'm here to help you overcome your anxiety. If you're a first-time listener, there's a little bit of a summary of what my channel is about. I basically try to help people with anxiety disorder, to help them overcome their struggle with it by providing them tips and to share my own experience. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do and hit the bell notification so that you can receive notification whenever I upload a new episode. Today, what I want to talk about this episode is about accepting your anxiety and panic attacks. I know that sounds like a crazy idea because you don't want this feeling. You don't want the situation you're in. You don't want to be in this place that you're in. You want to be back to what you used to be. And accepting it sounds the complete opposite of what you want. But today I'm going to explain to you and expand how accepting it is going to bring you closer to overcoming your anxiety and become the person that you used to be. What most of us do with anxiety, when we have anxiety disorder, we try to fight it. We try to push it away. We try not to feel this panic attack, not to feel this anxiety attack, not to feel what we're feeling because we don't want this feeling, right? So what we kind of try to do is try to fight it and push it away, which makes sense because we don't want this anymore. We want to become our old selves. But the more you fight it, the bigger it becomes. Why does it become bigger? Why? It makes sense to fight something that you don't want. Right? It makes sense. Hey, I don't want this. I'm going to push it away. But what is it that makes it even worse? What's the reason? Well, there's 3 reasons why. The number 1 reason is that you're afraid of it. What is panic and anxiety? What is it? It's fear. That's where it's coming from. So if you're afraid of it, you're basically you're adding more fear to the situation. Number 2, you're not calm. You're stressed because you're always thinking about the panic attack, the anxiety attack, this thing that you don't want. You want to push it away. So you're not calm, so you always stress. What is anxiety? It is stress. It's also part of stress. So you're not calm. You're not in a calm state of mind. So it's creating more because you're adding on to your stress. Number 3 is that you're focusing on your fears. That's what it is whenever you're not calm. So what are you doing is that you're focusing on your fears right now, and you're focusing on this anxiety and panic attack, and you don't want it, so you're trying to push it away, and that's all you're focusing on, and you don't give yourself the opportunity to focus on something else. And whenever you accept your anxiety, whenever you accept the panic attacks, what it does is it reduces your fears. It reduces the fear because you're no longer afraid of it. You're no longer afraid of it. So if you're no longer afraid of it, you're able to handle fear. So what happens is that your anxiety and panic attacks, they reduce. They start going down. And what happens when you also accept it? You start becoming calm. You're no longer anxious. So that's even another steps, even more, that it reduces your anxiety because you're calmer. And also number 3, what it does, it lets you to focus on something else. It drags your focus onto something else, and that way you're able to easily overcome it. Now you're going to try to focus on something else, and it might take a while in the back of your mind, because in the back of your mind, you're still thinking about the anxiety and panic attacks. You're still thinking about it, right? But eventually, little by little, eventually it will go away, and it will take some time again to master this, to start accepting it. But eventually, once you start mastering it, you'll see that your anxiety will reduce. Now, you need to understand something. You're not accepting the bad. You're not accepting that, hey, this is my situation. I have anxiety and panic attacks, so I can't do anything about it. And this is the way I am, so I'm just accepting it. I'm not doing anything about it to improve. No, that's not what I'm telling you to accept. What I'm telling you to accept is to accept the anxiety and panic attacks, the feelings of it. The thoughts that you have, that's what I'm trying to tell you to accept. Don't try to fight those because, again, like I told you before, so the more you fight it, the bigger it becomes because of those 3 reasons. And accepting your anxiety is a way to overcome your anxiety and panic attacks. This will push you forward in overcoming them. I know that you guys would never think this. I remember whenever my own experience, I remember I spoke to somebody about this and they told me you need to try to accept my anxiety. I was like, no way. I'm like, I'm not accepting this thing. I want this thing out of here. I want to feel like my old self. Why in the world would I accept this horrible feeling, this panic attacks, these physical pains? I don't want to feel this anymore. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of going to the hospitals and going to the doctors. I am sick and tired of it. Why would I accept it? But once I actually internalized it and understood it more in depth, and I recommend listening to this episode again so that you have a better understanding and more in depth, and this way you're able to overcome it much easier. So why should you accept your anxiety? What's the reason? Like I said before, once you accept it, you're no longer afraid of them. You're not afraid of the panic attacks and anxiety attacks. So it reduces your anxiety and panic attacks, because that's what fear is. Fear is anxiety and the panic attacks. That's what it is. That's what's the connection. So if you no longer fear them, it goes away. Yes, you might have other fears, but with this fear, it is a step forward into overcoming your fears in general, and it's going to reduce. And I'm going to be talking about panic attacks, how to reduce your panic attacks, how to the physical symptoms of it, how to reduce them. So what should we do about panic attacks? Right now, you're going to have a panic attack, right? A certain situation that causes you a panic attack, or that you just randomly happens to you. It doesn't matter where, it just randomly happens to you, these panic attacks, and you can't control it. So how can we overcome? By accepting it. Because whenever you're in a panic attack, whenever you have an anxiety attack, you're not thinking. You're just feeling, you're reacting. You're not sitting there and thinking, because your mind is racing so fast and you're not able to slow down your mind and take a step back, right? So what is it? How do we train ourselves to be able to accept these panic attacks and be fine with them? How do we do that and able to reduce the panic attack? So this is what I used to do. I used to write down the certain situations that used to cause me a panic attack, and I used to write it down, and I used to sit there and visualize myself being in that situation. Now, whenever you're going to visualize yourself being in that situation, you are going to feel that physical symptoms, not maybe as intense, but you still feel it. And this gives you an opportunity. It gives you practice in how to accept the panic attacks. So what you're going to do is you're going to sit there, and it's some sort of meditation. You're going to close your eyes and you're going to visualize yourself in the situation, and you're going to feel what you're feeling. And what you're going to say is that I accept this feeling. I accept how I feel, and feel the feeling, whatever it is, and feel it. Try not to push it out. Try not to feel it. Try to feel it. And it gives you a little bit of a small dose of what it feels like whenever you do have a panic attack. So you're able to sit there and be able to calm. And this way you're able to train your mind. If you do it over and over again, eventually you're able to train your mind so easily so that whenever you get to that situation, it's not going to be as intense, and it's going to take little by little. Every time you get into that situation, you're able to reduce it more and more and more and build confidence. And that way you're able to completely push away the panic attacks. Now, let's say you're in the situation of having a panic attack. You're right there and it's starting to happen. What should you do? Right? Try to take a step back. Try it. It's going to take you some time. You might not be able to do it the first time, the second time. But if you're not able to do that in the beginning, whenever after it does happen and you do calm down, try to look back onto the situation and do what I told you before. But let's say right now you're in the midst of a panic attack. What should you do? Again, this is going to take some time to master, but eventually you're able to do that. What you need to do is try to take a step back in your mind. Try to take a step back and understand that you're having a panic attack right now. Understand that. After that, take a deep breath in and out slowly. I will teach you guys in my other episodes how to do the breathing exercise, the deep breathing. I do it mostly different than most people. This thing really helped me out. So I would recommend, I'm going to teach you guys about that. But I would recommend taking a nice deep breath and say to yourself, this will pass. It's just a panic attack. And what I mean just a panic attack, I'm not trying to say that, hey, it's a small thing. I want you to, in your mind, make it a small thing. Whenever I went to my psychologist, and I remember I told him, like, hey, I remember the first meeting, and I told him, I'm depressed. You know what he told me? He's like, you're not depressed. You're just sad. You know what he did instantly right there? He literally took my depression that I put such weight on it and he made it into a tiny thing. Not to make me belittle, not to belittle my depression. No, it's to make me realize, hey, you're able to overcome this. And he made it small for me. So the same thing, and just say to yourself, it's just a panic attack. So that way you're able to visualize and say, hey, I'm able to overcome this thing. And again, it's not going to happen it's not going to happen the first time, second time, third time. It might take you some time to overcome this thing and master it, but practice makes improvements. Again, practice doesn't make perfection. I don't believe in perfection. I believe in improvements because you're always able to improve. That is the way to be able to overcome your panic attacks. One of the ways. Again, there's a lot more other ways, which I will be teaching you, but in this episode, it's all about accepting. Because my podcast, it's all about getting to the root cause. That's where I want to get to. I want to get to the root cause so that you can actually make a big change, a shift in mindset, because our mindset that we have right now, even before the anxiety, is what brought us to having anxiety disorder. Mostly people just say it came out of the blue. I know it feels that way, and I remember I felt that way. I remember that. I'm like, it came out of nowhere. I'm like, where did it come from? But whenever I actually looked back and I realized there was a certain mindset that I had, the negativity that I had in my life, and the negative person that I was, and the anger that I had, and the fears that I had, it all contributed to my anxiety disorder. And what triggered it, everyone has a trigger, and what triggered mine was I used to smoke weed a lot, and it triggered it. I remember I started having a panic attack while I was high, and one of the worst feelings I can ever feel, and I haven't smoked since then. I'm not even interested because of what it did to me. I'm very happy with who I am as a person I am today, but as you definitely feel what you're feeling right now, you understand that it's not an easy experience what you're going through. And I learned a lot, and I understood a lot, and I grew a lot from this thing. Don't get me wrong. And I realized it's all from the mindset that I had. It wasn't the weed that made me have anxiety disorder. No, it was my mindset. It was how I thought, how I believed, what I believed, and who I spoke with, and everything, and all the fears and everything, and what I was doing. And once I realized that, I made a change. Now, making the change is not a 1, 2, 3 step. I always talk about this. It's not easy to make the change because we're so used to thinking in one way. But whenever we start working on it every single day, slowly by slowly, our subconscious mind, it changes. It changes towards the good. It changes more positive, changes more hopeful, more optimistic. It's going to change to being more confident, higher self-esteem. And that way you're able to overcome your anxiety. Once you're able to make that shift in mindset with your subconscious mind, it's going to affect your conscious mind. Because right now your subconscious mind is in a negative state of mind, and we need to change that. And that's what I want to do with my podcast and help people with doing that and guiding them. And I hopefully you're able to do that. If you guys have any comments, anything that you would like to add, anything that you didn't understand, let me know in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to help you out. If you ever want to do a one-on-one, I do one-on-one sessions as well. Just send me a DM on my Instagram. It is your_strength_within. And send me a DM. We'll definitely set one up. I'll be able to help you out and guide you in what to do and how to overcome your anxiety. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. If you did enjoy this episode and it did help, please click the like button so you can reach other people. And if you know somebody else that would benefit from this, please share it with them. Thank you guys, and I will see you next time.